DeepMind didn't just build advanced algorithms. It built a machine intelligence that learns so aggressively, it forces even experts to question what human thinking actually means. And here's the part no one wants to face. Every breakthrough they release pushes the world closer to a future where your ability to understand the game depends on whether you can learn faster than the technology shaping your life. Because DeepMind's invention wasn't software, it was acceleration. Boom. What happens when intelligence stops needing permission from its creators? Power doesn't always roar. It often hides inside systems the world ignores, until those systems quietly take control. DeepMind began as one of those invisible forces. A small London lab, a small team, and a single audacious belief. Intelligence can be engineered. While the world obsessed over social apps and product launches, DeepMind focused on something deeper, building machines that could learn from experience, adapt without supervision, and outperform human intuition. This wasn't about automating tasks. It was about automating understanding. You felt the pressure of acceleration, the sense that technology moves one step faster than your ability to respond. DeepMind was built to outrun that feeling. Every milestone, from Atari games to AlphaGo, wasn't just a technical achievement. It was a demonstration that machines could now uncover patterns no human mind could process with the same speed or clarity. This story isn't about robots replacing people. It's about what happens when a small team gains influence over the world's most valuable currency, the ability to learn faster than everyone else. To understand DeepMind's rise, you must first see how learning became the new battlefield for power. DeepMind began by rejecting the traditional approach to AI. Instead of teaching machines rules, they taught them goals, then let them figure out the rules themselves through millions of failures. This method, reinforcement learning, wasn't elegant, but it was relentless. A machine could fail more in 1 hour than a human could in a lifetime, and every failure made it sharper. Most people saw games. DeepMind saw controlled environments where a new kind of intelligence could be shaped safely before being released into complex real-world problems. Pong, Breakout, Go. These weren't toys. They were simulations where algorithms learned strategy, adaptation, planning, and long-term reward optimization. You've lived the emotional version of this. Life moves faster than your ability to understand it. New skills appear, new expectations emerge, and you feel the pressure to keep up with a system that doesn't slow down for anyone. DeepMind's engineers felt that same tension. Human intuition simply wasn't scaling fast enough for the modern world. They weren't building AI to replace people. They were building it because the complexity of global systems had exceeded the limits of human reasoning. Each breakthrough from DeepMind proved something uncomfortable. Machines weren't just matching human decision-making. They were discovering strategies humans had missed entirely. The monopoly on insight was dissolving. The more the system learned, the clearer it became. Intelligence was no longer something humans exclusively controlled. And the moment everything shifted didn't happen in a lab, but on a global stage that exposed humanity's blind spot. The world understood DeepMind's impact only when its systems began outperforming experts who had dedicated entire lifetimes to mastering skills the machine learned in days. AlphaGo's victory wasn't a simple sports headline. It was the moment humanity saw intelligence expressed in a form it didn't recognize. The machine wasn't copying human strategy. It was inventing strategy. When Move 37 shocked commentators, it wasn't because it was clever. It was because no human would have ever considered it. DeepMind didn't just beat world champions. It revealed a truth people weren't ready for. Machines could now produce insight without human intuition guiding them. For some, this was inspiring. For others, it was a warning. If an AI could dominate a domain built on pattern recognition, creativity, and strategic imagination, what would stop it from dominating domains where the stakes were far higher? Energy grids, financial systems, medical decisions, supply chains. You felt a version of this in your own life. The moment when the rules you knew suddenly stopped working because the world changed faster than you did. DeepMind became the technological embodiment of that feeling. An intelligence that doesn't fatigue, doesn't freeze, and doesn't doubt itself for even a millisecond. As DeepMind's breakthroughs accelerated, the definition of understanding shifted. Human reasoning was becoming a slower, less adaptive model. The gap between biological learning and machine learning wasn't closing. It was expanding at a speed no institution could comfortably match. But none of these milestones prepared the world for the moment DeepMind proved intelligence could solve problems humans had failed to crack for decades. DeepMind's true turning point wasn't a game, a headline, or a match against a world champion. It arrived when the organization shifted its focus from controlled simulations to real scientific problems, issues that had resisted human progress for generations. The best example is AlphaFold. For 50 years, researchers struggled to predict how proteins fold, one of biology's most complex and consequential puzzles. Entire institutions were built around the problem. Massive grants were awarded. Careers were defined by slow, incremental progress. And in a matter of months, DeepMind's model achieved what the scientific world had failed to do for half a century. The shock wasn't just in the result. It was in what the result implied. For the first time in history, a machine demonstrated it could understand a domain that humans barely comprehended. DeepMind didn't automate a process. It solved a mystery. This breakthrough shattered the psychological barrier that separated human intelligence from machine intelligence. If AI could outperform scientists in biology, what about physics, economics, climate modeling, energy optimization, or medicine? Suddenly, the question shifted from, can AI learn, to what happens when AI learns faster than society can adapt? You've experienced this shift emotionally. Every time someone leaps ahead of you in skill or understanding, you feel the pressure to catch up. DeepMind magnified that feeling across the entire world. Nations, corporations, and institutions realized they were not competing against each other anymore. They were competing against the speed at which AI systems advanced. Governments scrambled to understand the implications. Corporations pivoted. Investors redirected billions. Because for the first time, knowledge itself had become a competitive weapon, one that no individual could outwork or outthink through traditional effort alone. DeepMind had shown that intelligence could be industrialized. It could be scaled, deployed, replicated, and accelerated, far beyond anything the human brain could match. And with that realization, the global race shifted from innovation to survival. And inside that shift lies the lesson that determines who adapts and who becomes irrelevant. DeepMind's rise exposes a truth people instinctively avoid. The world no longer rewards those who know the most. It rewards those who learn the fastest. That is the core of reinforcement learning and the core of human advancement. DeepMind didn't dominate because it began with perfect models. It dominated because it could iterate at a speed no human team could match. That speed advantage is the new foundation of modern power. There is a direct lesson for you. Every major advantage in your life came from moments when you increased your ability to learn something others could not. DeepMind simply applies that process without hesitation, distraction, ego, or exhaustion. And here's the relief no one emphasizes enough. AI doesn't replace adaptable people. It replaces people who assume the world will slow down to match their pace. That belief destroyed Intel's momentum. It erased Nokia's dominance. It collapsed Kodak's empire. Every downfall followed the same emotional pattern: success, comfort, stagnation, collapse. DeepMind teaches the opposite pattern: discomfort, curiosity, experimentation, exponential growth. Progress isn't linear anymore. It's compounding. And the only way to survive compounding change is to remain intellectually flexible, long after others have stopped paying attention. Because the future will not be controlled by those who understand everything, only by those who don't stop learning. DeepMind's influence is no longer limited to research labs. Its models now power decisions across healthcare, logistics, climate forecasting, protein modeling, energy optimization, and even the strategic frameworks governments rely on to manage national infrastructure. The world is shifting from tools that follow instructions to systems that learn continuously. And DeepMind is a major architect of that shift. Most people still believe they're competing with technology. They're not. They're competing with the individuals, companies, and nations that know how to use learning systems to amplify their capabilities. Just like calculators transformed math and spreadsheets transformed business, intelligence engines will transform every field they touch. DeepMind is not a preview of a distant future. It is the operating system of the next economic era, a world where intelligence becomes a scalable resource detached from human limits. And in a world where intelligence compounds faster than time, your only advantage is how quickly you choose to adapt. If you've stayed this long, you already see the pattern emerging. DeepMind isn't just reshaping AI, it's redefining what intelligence means and who gets to control it. Every episode we create pulls back another layer of the systems shaping your world, showing how modern Palo is built, protected, and multiplied through learning. Subscribe, because understanding these empires gives you leverage in a future where most people will feel lost. When you think like the architects of these systems, you stop fearing acceleration and start using it. The next episode exposes an even larger shift already unfolding.